Hello and welcome to another Conan Exiles video. This may seem familiar to some if you've watched a previous video of mine, which is a walkthrough of my custom built city, Falia. This is basically the same video, but I actually restarted my single player game and built this city all over again from scratch. There were a lot of things that I wished I did differently once I was completely done with this city. When the 3.0 update was announced for Conan, I was like, I don't know when all the mods I use are going to get updated to accommodate the new Conan update. And if you're a part of the Pippi community, which is a pretty big and popular mod for Conan, you'll know that the creator of the mod said he wasn't going to be updating it anymore. So I was kind of at a loss of what to do with Conan videos, since the Pippi thespians were a pretty big, integral part of my single player gameplay and builds. So after the 3.0 update, I got all my mods kind of resituated. I got some new ones that I thought would be perfect for the city, and I got rid of some. So I figured starting over on a fresh save was the best choice, which meant rebuilding the city. One of the biggest things I think I did wrong with the first try at building Falia was basically I ended up choosing the entrance location to the city in a spot that didn't really make sense exploration-wise. Normally you're starting off at the desert, and I made a new force spawn through Pippi that starts you kind of around the Sentinels landmark, which is still pretty much by the desert. There's an NPC there that I added that suggests you go to the east to the jungle and find this city if you want to like buy stuff and trade stuff. And I really only wanted one entrance for Falia, but with the first build, I ended up making two because having to go all the way around the outside of this giant city didn't really make sense to me. So in order to fix that, I have the entrance just in the middle of the land sections in the jungle. So it's pretty easy to find and enter the city, coming from like where you would spawn. I made some areas outside of the city this time, so for this new updated Falia walkthrough, we'll be checking those out first. This is the first area. There is a bridge over this part of the water. It's not that deep, but this is meant to be where the lumber yard is, so you know, for the sake of not getting the wood wet while it's transported to the city, there's a bridge. These areas outside of the city are super simple. I didn't want to add too much to these decoration-wise just because other than a few really simple and really quick side quests, there's not really any point to them aside from just aesthetic and to kind of represent there's a bustling, functioning city around this area. So this is the little lumber yard for Falia. I had to turn it daytime. It's super simple, very small. Next is going to be the graveyard for Falia. I may add some flowers and stuff, but other than that, even with how super small it is, you get the point of it. It's the graveyard. There's not much to it. Right across from the city entrance is where the quarry is. One of my mods has these really cool mining workstations and like decorations and stuff, so it really helps tie the quarry area together with all these little mines and these mine carts and everything. And just on the other side of this mountain is where I put the farmlands. It's a very small area, especially considering how big Falia is, but I just didn't want to put too much time and effort into it because like I said, other than some simple side quests, there's not really a point to these little areas other than aesthetic. There's lots of animals, some crops, nothing crazy. I don't have any like long strands of quests to do here like I did in the previous build. I just didn't feel like adding that many side quests again, especially since I didn't really want these areas to be that important. It just felt unnecessary this time. Now let's get to the city itself. The entrance is still pretty simple. Ignore the chests. I haven't made my own house yet in this save file, so that's where all my like fashion stuff is and all that. The entrance to the city is still pretty much the same, just kind of designed differently. There's an information desk where you can learn about the city, and of course Lyra the musician that you can get a nice quest from. One of my favorite changes that I did is to the marketplace. In my first build, I made it super big and spread open because I thought that's what would make it look busy and seem lively. But I kept the sections of it pretty small, so it does seem a lot more cramped. There are still some stalls to sell and buy stuff from, but I left out a lot of the filler stalls that I did in the first build that were just kind of there to take up space. I mostly just used specific stalls like hides or dyes or fabrics and stuff. Of course, I still have the alchemy shop in all of its greatness. I think this shop is one of the main points of Falia, especially considering the questline you can get here. So I have a merchant, an NPC that you can talk to, and of course, good old Polly. She's probably one of my favorite NPCs I've added, attitude and personality wise. Doing quests for her will still give you access to the basement, which is one of the reasons I wanted to redo Falia. I got the basement mod, which allows me to have a basement, duh, which is a new little hatch door that will lead you to like a new instance in your Conan playthrough. I can still use warps and teleports within the basement as well, so it just works out so perfectly for the quest line I have here. So entering the basement, there's Tora. She's looking pretty cool, I think. She sells some more rare items. This area is a lot smaller than before, and I really like it that way. It really feels like an actual basement. This is Uma's little area. Her bedroom has been drastically simplified. Her dead body NPC, if you choose to kill her in her quest line, is just kind of a line right there. And of course, her little alchemy area and her working away at her little desk. Making our way back into the marketplace, as you can see, it's just filled with some stalls. There's a few quests you can do here and there, and some NPCs you can talk to. I also have this production area, is what I call it. This is where the stonework and the tannery areas are. There's also the weapon merchant and the armor merchant that I still kind of have combined in this little space. I also made the library basically at the end of the marketplace this time instead of right in the middle of it. So it's not too loud or anything, it just kind of makes more sense to where a library would be. This area is just sort of filler, so there's not much here except for some aesthetic NPCs that just kind of fill the area. We got a little fortune teller here where I kind of set up some really basic dialogue with fortune telling and stuff. And the infirmary. Got the doctor that you can still get a quest from, and a little shop NPC if you need to stock up. Before we fully cross the little bridge over the river that gets us to the rest of the city, we're going to take this elevator and head down to where I have the inn. I did a lot of thinking about where I wanted the inn this time around, and it took me a while. This is like one of the last things I created just because I was so indecisive about the location. But I decided it's just going to be down by the water. I still included the hot spring. The fog was a little hard to place because I didn't want to add a bunch of building pieces, but I needed to place it like on a building piece for the fog to actually stick there. I got it to work well enough though, and I'm happy enough with it. Passing the hot spring is where the inn is going to be. The rooms are locked behind egress doors, which is a Pippi mod thing where you can have locked doors and have different requirements. I just kind of wanted there to be aesthetics of rooms there, but not actually you can go in there. Just because this is a single player game and, you know, there doesn't actually have to be a functioning inn. But you can get a quest from the group of travelers here just like before. And heading back up to where the lawn bridge is across the water, the bridge is literally just nothing, but it just attaches to this part of the city. I didn't want this area to be too filled up just due to what it is. It's literally just filler. This is the new and improved entertainment district. It's a lot smaller and doesn't have a second floor, but I think it still looks nice and busy and fun to be in. You can buy some food and drink, get the delivery quest here where you can deliver stuff, and play some blackjack, which I spent far too much time doing. This area is the more adult part of the entertainment district. I won't show it, of course, since there's some questionable things going on over there. But with the Derketo mod being discontinued, I had to make do with regular thespians and like emotes and stuff. It worked out well enough for me. But the housing district is over here. There's a few rooms you can enter, but the upstairs is blocked off just for show, like a lot of other things. And then kind of in the middle of this area of the city is going to be the throne room. I really like how it turned out this time going around. There's lots of plants, which I really wanted Falia to seem like it had a lot of vegetation and plants and stuff all around the city because the jungle is a very vegetation lush place or whatever. So, like last time, there is Talon who sits on the throne of Falia with his guards next to him. And I made use of the basement system again for this, behind him. It was perfect for the treasure room. So it's just a small area full of some relics and trinkets. There's supposed to be a crown on this little cushion, but I guess it has disappeared. Oh well, but it's super simple in here. You can only get access to this treasure room if you complete the main Falia quest line with Talon that kind of sends you on a quest to figure out what happened to the missing king and queen. And the last area of the city that we're going to have a little tour of is going to be the royal quarters. It's kind of connected to the throne room area, kind of. Once again, you'll need to get the quest from Talon before being allowed in here. So the first room is going to be the princess's room. It's pretty small, but the white Lemurian building pieces make it look pretty fancy, and I really like it. And there's Letty relaxing like usual. The King and Queen's room I didn't put too much effort into, since it's supposed to be a room that's been abandoned for years. So other than some regular upkeep like dusting and stuff, the room isn't actually used or lived in or anything like that. And that's going to be it for my new and improved Falia custom city build. You can check out the previous video for comparison with the old Falia if that interests you, to see if it looks better in your opinion or not. I think it looks way better. I will have the collection of all my current Conan mods linked in the description box below. I do have a lot of mods and sometimes I don't know which exactly has what in it, so if you're looking for a specific decoration or something that you see in my videos, you're better off just kind of looking through the mods that I use yourself and figuring out which one it comes through. Because a lot of things I kind of found out came with a mod after I looked through while I was in the game. But the collection will be linked in the description box below if you have any interest in the mods that I've been using. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. Check out my social media, also linked in the description box. I'm inconsistent on every platform, but I'm aiming to get better at posting, but no promises. Like and subscribe if you want to. And thank you so much for joining me for today's video, and I will see you in the next one for some more fun.